I was gonna start.
I'll tell you what, Usama. I'll wear a beanie and the wig. How's that sound?
I like it. You'll have like the long hair flowing out of the beanie, and you'll have like the hair on top like this.
And that, everyone, is the introduction to our inaugural. No, it's not inaugural. What do you call it? Our pilot.
Welcome to
it could be the pilot episode. See if we're gonna get canceled or not.
We are most definitely getting canceled.
We're called Kusag. Colby, Usama, Glen. Kusagal. Welcome to Kusagal, everyone.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. And in our weekly show, we talk about all things TikTok and Snapchat marketing.
Don't forget Facebook, the key to everything.
Today, let's talk about our Black Friday, Cyber Monday, boys. How did we go?
What did we do on each account?
What did we do? Let's talk about our accounts. And let's run some teasers on some strategies that we did that we might be talking about in the following weeks. I'm going to pick someone to start. Colby, you're it.
Colby's like, I'm not ready.
Let's just close all those lovely auto recommendations from our friends at Google. And what do we want to look at? I want to do some year-over-year comparisons from Google here. Let's look at, start on the 20th. We'll go to 27th. And we'll do previous year. Does that kind of line up here? What do we got? No, we're going to switch this to that, this to that. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm just going to leave these open so we can see how things went. And I can kind of talk about my little breakdown here that I've got for Black Friday. I've been using a cool little script I'll talk about in a second. What do we got from performance perspective? Ooh, ROAS down a little bit, but you know, while that sounds like it might be something to be concerned about, we can see that we've increased the budget by 65%, and we actually increased budget more than Facebook had in this period, and we were still able to come out on top for the brand from a year-over-year perspective. So that was super cool to see. One of the things that we're touting here and we're really enjoying using right now, of course, we're not using PMax. We are using standard shopping. The reason we like standard shopping is you have much more room to actually push budgets and not run into any sort of weird ceilings that you can't see. And you also just get a better sense of cold traffic. So let's just go straight into this standard shopping setup. Now that I've shown you the year-over-year, I'm just going to go and enable this so we can see this easier. And we can see Google wants us to spend more money across the board, which is always nice if it actually does perform. And then when we're looking at the ROAS by time, we can see that getting around 450 here, and that is, we got 256 here, and this is in-app. So when we go on North Theme, this number is actually going to be higher because standard shopping is so terrible at being attributed through Google. One of the things I want to talk about here is the FlowBoost labelizer script that I'm using. And I'm just going to try to simplify it as much as possible. So basically you install a script into your Google Ads account, and then it will categorize your products into 4 categories, might be 4 or 5, and there's under index, over index, near index, index, and basically all of that's based off of a target ROAS you pick. It has a look back window, and basically it will look every 30 days minus the conversion lag, and then it'll start to populate items. So you can just go and see here in my product groups. I have near index, index, and over index. And I was able to create a campaign based on basically the visibility and performance of my product. So I'm going to have to do this a way I'm not too happy about. 1 second here. And so the way I've set this up is knowing that my under index products, those are the ones that aren't selling too good, I'm going to give them a higher tROAS. So I started this out basically looking at the different categories. I'm sure if you had a really wide account and lots of budget, you could make campaigns for all, but I basically put all of my better performers in one campaign, the no index, which we like to refer to as those that aren't getting enough love, and then your under index, which are your underperformers. Before I assigned these target ROASs, I basically just took a look at it and knew that my near index, over index, and index, these are my performers. So I started out and gave them a really low target ROAS. I gave it 50%. And I just knew that way all the guardrails would be taken out and Google could just go all out. And from what I've been seeing, it's not only spending all of its budget, but it's continuing to get a better ROAS than its target. And then when we look over Northbeam, we're seeing that it's also delivering there. And then I just kind of followed that same idea. No index, I picked somewhere in the in-between. Right now, that's not what you see, but I'll get there in a second. And then for under index, I gave it what I call a safety. So I was within the 300 or 400 ROAS. So then you kind of have like a nice little safety blanket where you can be the most aggressive in your items that are going to perform, and then have that level of safety for those products that might not sell as well. And so the next thing that we actually have been doing here is we've been noticing something interesting within Google. And to do this, you have to actually log into the Google mobile app. And when you do so and go into the settings, you can go and try to adjust your target ROAS or tROAS. And when you do that, it'll give you a recommendation for what that tROAS should be. And we've been adjusting that. Some of us do it daily, some of us do it every 3 days. The more the better. I'd say during Black Friday, though, I was a little more careful during this period. But we've just been adjusting that. And basically, it seems that Google can continually hit those tROASs. And we are also beginning to get full spend from those days. So it's, I don't know if you want to call it a hack or what you want to call it, but it's working for now. Maybe I could even lean into Glenn to see if he could talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, so John's been posting about this in his socials about how he's been using the Google app that you can download on iOS and Android. Then you log in the accounts, and then, so for argument's sake, let's just pull up one of those campaigns just to explain people. Just go in one of those campaigns.
Oh, okay.
Just click on one of them, and then go into the settings and see where it's got bidding tROAS. Now, in there, if you just click change bid strategy, just change bid and just pick something else. I don't know, anything really. Just go instead of target ROAS, change it to.
Oh, I see.
Go maximize clicks. Now change it back. So I'll save that.
Oh, save it.
Save it, and then go back and change it to target ROAS and see if it gives you a recommendation.
I believe it will.
tROAS. Okay, so it's giving you a recommendation of 160. See that recommendation target 160? That's the recommendation that's given to you now. Now, each day you go in there, you won't see that. You won't see recommended target ROAS. You don't see that in the web. However, inside the iOS and Android app, you see that. And each day it might change. So as part of a scaling strategy that we've been using over the last 2 months or so and what John's been disclosing to us, we go into the app every day and we will look at that recommendation and we'll look at the account and go, well, will we change it? Won't we change it? Now, this isn't I haven't been doing this religiously and changing it religiously. I've been looking and doing a few modifications and looking at something going, if it's looking at a campaign saying, oh, you need to change your ROAS to 300 to 450, I'll go, no, I don't want to throttle my campaign. So I might go 300 to 320. But sometimes I might. It all depends on what I'm doing. Now, I've been doing something very similar to this with a client. I kicked off at the start of October. So we were prepping for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and we were prepping to go, right, we need to scale, we need to spend and get really, really aggressive moving into that Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. But we had a certain weekly spend, and we had a certain monthly spend. So with a combination of a few other strategies, and using this bidding, this tROAS recommendation in the campaigns, we slowly scaled up, down, up, down, up, down. So we're using this stair-step method of what I would do is, you'll see a target ROAS. I'd go into the app, it'd say, change your target ROAS to 200. So I might change it to 200. I'd go in 1 or 2 days later, it'll say, change your ROAS to 220. I'd change it to 220. And then after two more days, it might say, no, change your target ROAS back to 130 because performance was bad. So I'd drop it back to 130, but then I'd increase the budget by 20%. And then what would happen most of the time, and I've seen this over the last 5 weeks, is performance would take off, spend would take off, and then I'd repeat. It'd be like this stair step, up, down, up, down, up, down. So every time I saw a recommendation to reduce the ROAS, I increased the budget. And that is a strategy that we've been using. There is no, these are the rules. There is a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Discretion in what you use, but the iOS app and the Android app will always show you a recommendation. Usama, you've been using the same strategy as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I love how we shifted from, let's talk about Black Friday, to a completely different strategy.
Well, it's like the backbone of our strategy.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the backbone. It's one of the strategies we've been using leading up into Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we've been using it pretty aggressively, and like Glenn said, it does come down to discretion and how well, if it even makes sense to make the change, and honestly, the time period you're in as well. So for starters, if you're set to 250 and it's like increase it to 900 or 1,000, don't do that, and you'll see that. Don't do that. And then at the same time, if you're set at like 200% and you're going into a heavy sales period like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that's like our original topic, but you want to spend more money at that time, right? You want to bring in more customers. So at that point, instead of increasing or holding that tROAS, you want to pull back, which is what I did for one of my clients. Like we were set at like 100%. I pulled back to 50 because we wanted to push those campaigns very aggressively and we didn't want any limitations on them. So a lot of it is changing it continuously, and a lot of it is judgment calls as well. So
yeah,
that's the caveat. Don't blame us. Make sure you think it through as well.
So I was actually just going to share my screen based on what the strategy that I was dealing with this client moving into the Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So we had, and all I've been doing, and I've been sharing this incrementally. So these are the 7 days. So we were moving at, we can't see any, obviously we'll blur out names of who this is, but we were doing snapshots using this same strategy. We would also break out standard shopping, and with Google Ads, we were at 20,000 a week spend there. Rev here about 63, and this was their global. Now moving this same strategy, moving up, down, up, down, up, down, we were able to move it from 19 spend 63 up to the last Black Friday. So this is the last week, up to 37,152. Now that's obviously Black Friday, but we've been able to scale that up instead of just doing a massive, we increase our spend in 7 days and it goes back. We've been able to, what should happen now as the performance start dropping off, we will move back down to say maybe this level, not this level, down to 19 or 10,000. We should be able to maintain around $30,000 to $40,000, around 30,000 a month. We might not see $150,000, $100,000 performance, but we've been able to push the performance up, train Google to get there, and now we're going to see a slight drop off. But what we'll do moving into next year is we'll do the same process. We'll keep stair stepping and moving up using the recommendations. We'll probably do a little bit more of an in-depth about that in the coming weeks, like how we deep dive in. We might deep dive into an account, do a screen share of the app and show the recommendations. But that's just a strategy that we've been working on over the last 6 weeks. that was that. That's just one of them, using the in-app ROAS. We've got other strategies as well where we're using 3-tier, 4-tier, 5-tier builds. Colby's, we mentioned the FlowBoost labelizer, which we've actually fallen in love with. What we're hoping is we'll get Floris, who's the inventor of it, on a call with us. And once we get a bit more data, we're going to drill him. We're going to drill Floris. So Floris, get ready for it. And do a deep dive and get some recommendations from the creator of the script itself. And we'll show him the performance that we've been getting.
Wait, doesn't do my thing. Hold on.
Let him go. These guys. Oh, hang on.
Does it? Hold on. Where's my background?
See, it
won't work now. Oh my god.
You can.
But yeah, useless Apple. But
so Usama, show us some of your performance with your accounts over the BFCM.
So I keep my Black Friday promotions on Google pretty simple. Honestly, the only things I run are Merchant Center promotions. I don't run any YouTube promotions. I don't run any display, and I launch a brand campaign with the promotion pinned to position 2. Where position 1 is essentially the brand name, some form of brand message, and position 2 is whatever the promo is, 30, 40, 50% off. And I actually had 2 major clients I worked with through this. And the first client that we did was this one where I doubled my budgets on my brand campaigns because I was trying to grab as much brand traffic as well, and I saw people were bidding on me, so I did that. So I spent a lot of money on brand, but that's fair because Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And the way I did that was I increased spend and I basically decreased the target it was supposed to hit. So like if I had a ROAS target of 1,200 on it, it was pulled down to like 500. So there's like nothing holding it back. And then I did the same thing with my cold campaign where it was converting at, I think it was like $160, $170 CPA for this brand, which is good for them because the LTVs are like $500-600. And then I'm not even looking at the right one. Yeah. So what I did to that campaign was I pulled the ROAS targets back from 100 to literally 50 because I wanted that new customer introduction into the brand while they might buy in a different scenario, right? So what's interesting about that, and I don't have triple well pulled up, was I got the most amount of new customers from my top of funnel campaign into this account during that time period. I didn't get the most amount of revenue, but the most amount of new sessions were generated from that campaign, which was great to see. Now, overall, this account did 188% better than last year. And now, given that this is not purely Google, that's the biggest caveat. This is a mix of Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever you want to call it, everything combined. So it's not purely Google, but we did 188% uplift. We hit all our profitability goals and stuff like that. So that's good. The other account, which is actually a pretty big account as well, they did really well too. But what's interesting here is that we only got a 3% boost in revenue. But here's the interesting part about this is that last year we were spending an insane amount of money on advertising, Facebook, Google, to the point where we were spending almost $1 million a month on Google Ads. And this time we only spent around, I think it was like 250,000 a month right now. It's because they were focused on profitability and we just different changes in structures internally. So what you see here is we actually had a 32% less online sessions, right? But we maintained the amount of orders. So realistically, the profitability for these days is pretty high, because we didn't spend as much as we were and we got all the traffic we wanted and the same amount of revenue. So although this looks bad, it actually isn't. We held tight, we spent less money, made more money. That's all I got. Is there follow-up questions from you two on what I did or an account you want me to show?
No.
No, it's making me just remind me of a point that I probably should have made for my account too, but I didn't show it in Shopify, was just with some of the methods that we're talking about. Yeah. I also had a situation where Facebook had spent significantly less, and despite that happening, we still saw a 5% increase from a revenue perspective. Mm-hmm. And so right now I want to give that credit to a mixture of standard shopping and of course like managing your tROAS is the script, of course. I think that's really been helpful. And Maybe you two fellas. Why not?
Bit of YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of YouTube. Bit of YouTube. A little bit of discovery. I can't say I've been impressed with discovery or demand gen as of late, but I'm hoping someone comes up with a use case to really. Yeah.
Yeah, I think moving forward in the next couple of weeks and with more performance data that we'll have under our belt, we should be able to come up with some pretty unique strategies for using the scripts, but also the tiers with the standard shopping that we've been setting up. Now, I know that we made a caveat at the start that we're not using PMax. I've actually got some campaigns that I'm running PMax with, but I'm doing a combination of PMax and standard shopping, and I'm trying to make PMax be the cold top of funnel type of situation and let PMax scoop up more non-branded keywords and branded keywords. So we don't want PMax chasing brand. If we're going to use PMax, we want PMax to be more of a prospector, and it's obviously got the black box in there, but it's still. I don't think we've got enough data yet to make it a definitive decision, and we are coming on the back of a sale period. But I think moving forward, we'll have some. I know I will have some interesting case studies to talk about using a combination of Performance Max and standard shopping together. But yeah, I think overall, I know my clients were pretty happy with the performance that we've had. I know yours are, Colby. The doctor was in the house. He made everyone feel better.
And I think I got a stat too here. I think I read, whether it was on Shopify or Northbeam, I don't remember, but I think I read that globally sales were up 22%.
Wow.
So maybe we'll get a fact checker to see if that's real, and this can be cut if that's wrong.
I actually saw some accounts.
Fact.
Oh, fact. Sorry. I thought you said fat checker. Jesus. Fat shaming people, Paul.
Yeah, Colby.
Here we go.
But what trends I did see, just to keep us on topic, Friday was really good. Saturday was really good. Sunday was horrible. And Monday was really good. So that's just a trend I saw.
Yeah, I saw that across the board too. Killer Friday. Saturday was
the day before. I saw a dip the day before, like on the Thursday. And then things pumped back up.
Wednesday, Thursday were like dead zones.
Yeah.
There's like nothing happening Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday was just a spike.
Everyone on Sunday had remorse buying.
Yeah. I have another client. It's more like an international brand that I haven't shared. It's more like soap and organic soap and stuff like that. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, dead. Like nothing.
Oh,
like people were saving.
Everyone was experiencing that.
Like people were saving money from that, and immediately the day after, I think it was Saturday, all of a sudden I'm spending money again. All of a sudden, like my stuff is converting again. So it's great now, but those 4 days were painful for this guy, for this client. Yeah. Like we went from spending $1,000 a day to the lowest of like $245 on a Thursday, and then Friday was decent, and then Saturday, Sunday, Mondays just started picking up more aggressively. So sweet. And now it's kind of again, but yeah.
Now it's a matter of just keeping an eye on things for the holidays, depending on what you're doing. I think for e-com, some companies are still running promotions. If you're running promotions, just keep an eye on your bid and budgets. Also, right? Like if you rose your budgets like big time for those few days, and you should pull back, because if you don't do it soon, you might get some days of heavy spend.
Yeah. One of the things, also be careful with market conditions when you're making change. Like we've had 4 dead days. Don't get impulsive and go around, I need to do something, I need to do something, I need to do something kind of situation. Just because it's a market condition, it'll recover on its own. So just leave it alone in scenarios like that. Let things turn around, like we did with Black Friday. So we knew it was a market condition where people were just holding money to spend on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And as soon as things were past that point or beyond that point, it just recovered on its own. I don't have to go in there, make negative keywords, launch 3 new campaigns or whatnot. A lot of the time it's just being patient and knowing when to make changes. That's half of your ads.
Mm-hmm. The hard part should be done right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard part
is
done.
If you're doing lead gen, B2B, things should be slowing down.
Those are dying
time to just
fast.
Right. do some research for your clients, show them some value, say, hey, this is what we saw in this quarter, et cetera, et cetera. I find that's a good time to do that because you might not be doing rigorous optimization.
Yep, what Colby said. Sweet.
Well
Thank
done.
you for coming to our TED Talk. We have no
we
idea
did
what
it.
we're
First
doing.
call.
We did our first call, so leave us a comment on whatever the heck you want us to talk about.
Yeah, do us a comment, do a like. What else? What else?
Subscribe.
Share. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button up here down there.
Smash that like button. Smash it.
Smash
Like
the like button.
smash. I love it. Awesome.
Thank you, gentlemen. Love your work.
We did it.
Bye-bye.
Hi everybody, it's Regina from Solutions 8. I'm here to show you that the stair-step method that John Moran developed to grow a smart shopping campaign, as well as other types of campaigns, really does work. And I have